Hi, everybody. Day 5 launch week.
Day 5. That's sick.
So
Let's see.
exciting.
Let me just close this. We're taking down the. Oh, no one. Ooh. There we go. We got 5. We got 5 people.
There we go.
Well, I mean, we got a few thousand people this week from launch week, which was sick. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. And we saved the most interesting, in my book. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how day 5 turns out. But this one feels like the most out there feature in my book.
this was definitely your favorite and most heavily requested. I mean, I think this was like something you were really excited about.
I am, and this was your idea. This is like, you had
Yeah, I
this,
did.
this is like day 1, like this was like such an early days idea of this, like shareability factor.
Totally. It's
Yeah.
pretty interesting. I mean, but we can jump right into it, I think. Well,
Yeah.
or let's just wait, I guess. We have a few people online. Maybe we could talk a little bit about like how this week went. I know we talked about it a little bit on Wednesday, but I took a few looks at all of our dashboards this morning. Based on just clicks on each page, you could kind of see what people resonated with. And I think at least maybe this is biased because it was the start of the launch week, but Audiograms had, I think, the most traffic to the Audiograms blog post. I don't know what your thoughts are around that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely saw that. I definitely saw that initial spike as well. I was looking at our website logs, and I mean, I think just a big part of it is like the excitement around launch week. Like, what is this? Like what is this new thing that doesn't yet exist? And then as the week goes on, people are you know uh, like less surprised by it, I guess.
Right, right. Yeah. Sorry, I got disconnected there for a second. My internet was weird.
Yeah.
But no, totally. It's been interesting to see. Like yesterday, I had a call with this group up here, or this group that we're both involved in, like AI Tinkerers, and had a call with Joe, the founder of AI Tinkerers, yesterday, and we just had this conversation about like um, audiograms and just went down the rabbit holes of all this stuff. It was pretty cool because actually a few weeks ago, 11 Labs sponsored, or 11 Labs had a hackathon. And for people that don't know, 11 Labs is like a voice provider. They do AI voice and a lot of stuff. And AI Tinker is actually sponsored 11 Labs in that hackathon. And then we were just talking about like, oh, this could be like we Jellypod can come in and like do some stuff with audiograms and video on for AI Tinkerers and like kind of come full circle. It'd be interesting. But yeah, I mean, so Audiograms was awesome. That was cool. And then I think the second biggest spike we saw was Wednesday. And Wednesday was
Custom domains.
custom domains. Custom domains was Wednesday. So that was cool.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting. Which one was your favorite to build?
I think probably this one. I mean, the one that's coming out today. Well, it depends. Audiograms was also great. I think that lays a cool foundation. A lot of people have been asking for it. So it's like an interesting balancing act between, forward thinking, like everybody that, uses Jellypod, they use it in the present and they associate their current problems or the possibilities of what they could do with Jellypod, and they ground it in like today. And like our job, is to take those problems that people have today or what they're trying to do and like expand and extrapolate and to make some bets and some guesses about like, hey, this is how they're using the product today. This is what they say they want. Those are great. We take that feedback, we put it in the roadmap, we build the things. But then also, how do we look forward to the future and be like, okay, tomorrow, how are people thinking about AI podcasts? How are people creating media? And what can we do that people don't even think about yet? Because we have this really in-depth and deep understanding about the space and creation in general. And so Audiograms is like that one thing that was pretty obvious. People were taking their Jellypod audio, throwing it into Descript, throwing it into Veed, and making those audiograms. And it's like, okay, that's an obvious next step for us. How can we keep people to, just creating and create the whole process in Jellypod? But then, alternatively, what can we do that's just like net new that just nobody's been thinking about? And I think that's like a great segue into today's feature, which is what we called it. Naming is hard. So I think we're just titling this today guests, right? That's
Yeah. Either guests or guest clones. One of those two. I go back and forth, but I think guests is a much cleaner title for sure.
I think that's what we put on the blog post, right? Guests or like invite
Yeah.
guests. I don't remember. But so yeah, so today we're super happy for day 5, the release of this new feature called guests. And Nate, you want to talk about it? I mean, you explain
Yeah.
what guests are.
Guests are, so until today, the creation was entirely single player. You have a vision, or maybe someone in the room. Like I just had a call this morning with one of our customers, a couple out of Norway, and the two of them have these like awesome conversations week in and week out, and they convert those into a podcast. I won't tell too much more about them because I'm excited for their case study, for their customer story call on YouTube. But so often you're limited to the creation that happens in one computer, let's say, the people that are in front of this one dashboard. But so often, there's unique expertise and insight in like your immediate network, your best friend, your wife, your husband, your boss, the CEO of your company, or anyone at all that you might, that are in your online communities. There's all these awesome people whose insight is also kind of locked away. And not everyone, not all those people want to start an AI podcast, and you as a creator do. So now with guests, what's so cool is you can now hook these people into your podcast and begin to tell, some of their stories as well. So I'm just super excited for.
And how does that kind of work? I mean, so what's that process look like today and in the feature that we released?
Yeah, I mean, it's very intuitive. So in the host section of your dashboard or of your product, you can either create a new host as you've always been able to, and this is what we consider sort of your traditional podcast host. But then right next to it, there's a button that says Invite Podcast Guest. And by clicking that button, you generate a brand new URL. And that URL you can share however you want to. So you can, like last night I was testing it. You can text it to somebody, you can email it to somebody, or you can make a call to action and post it in like a group thread somewhere. Then somebody clicks, and what's cool is immediately upon clicking that link, they get taken to a creation like surface. So they can enter in their name, a bit about their backstory. So backstory is super important again in Jellypod. So that's a way that you really can influence the tone, the word choice, the perspective. So they input that, and then they record a little bit of their voice, or they can attach in, say that they have like a video of themselves talking. Maybe they're on a podcast. Maybe it's just something that they recorded at home. They can upload that as well. Click continue. And then there's one final screen where you get to sort of preview the clone, make sure that you like it. If you don't, you can try it again. Once you do, hit save, and then that person's all done, and that clone sort of makes its way over to the original Inviters app.
Right.
And then you can use it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you just create a host, and you essentially just create that link in the dashboard in your host creation screen, and then you get a unique one-time use link to send to a friend who can use it. And so like that link, if you send it around or whatever, it's like it's a one-time use link. It expires in 24 hours. So just create a bunch for each person. So each link that you create associated to one host. And once your friend or colleague creates that host and gets into your account successfully, you'll get an email notification saying, "Hey, John Doe just added John Doe just was added to your account. Like, go use them in your podcast, and so you'll get notified when your friend completes that process. So, yeah, we're pretty excited about this. It's cool. There's a lot of interesting people that just getting them into your podcast is interesting. This is just like a voice clone, so it's like, the whole process of AI podcasting here is you create your host, give them the backstory, and that is really like the foundation of what you're creating. So it's just nothing special on once the host is created, but just now you can just have your friends and colleagues get a host into your account. And this is pretty cool. Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I just want to make one quick aside. Are you staying on invite or are you moving on?
No, stay on here.
Okay, go. Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh yeah, and then what was it? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. What was this?
I ruined it. I'm sorry. I thought you were going somewhere else, and I wanted to quickly give like a pro tip. Here, I'll say the pro tip really quick. I'm sorry again for cutting you off. The pro tip is in the way that you send the the link. You might send it over email. You might send it over text. What I think is a cool use case is with that initial send, ask the person a couple questions, like whatever you want their perspective on, and then immediately they can respond to you. And then, record the clone, of course. But once you get the clone in your account, you can then use their answers as sources for the podcast. So the idea is this quick turnaround of the voice, but also you incorporate their insight quickly into your podcast.
Right. And that would be outside of the voice clone, the invite link, right? Or they could just put that stuff into the backstory. I mean, but it would influence everything that host has, so it wouldn't be like a episode specific. Oh yeah, now I remember now what was I going to say. So currently on all our plans, the free plan, you get one voice clone. Starter plan, you get two, and then it just doubles as you go up. But with invite guests now, you have one free clone, but then you also have a invite guest as well. So essentially, this just gets everybody an extra voice clone into their account by inviting a guest. So if you already used up one of your clones based on, because you're a clone voice, you've cloned your own voice, you could still send somebody an invite link and try out the feature. So encourage you guys, everyone, to check it out. We'll kind of monitor and see how people are using the links and see how many links have been created and all of the above. It'll be interesting for us to see and how it's being used. But yeah, super excited about it. And then I guess we could talk about what we released yesterday.
Oh yeah, yesterday, Embed Player, also super cool. Right. I mean, it's kind of wild to hear about the 5 things that happen in 5 days. Because it's just like oh yeah, Embed Player. Like you can just embed podcasts on your website now. Like so that was yesterday's announcement, and also a huge request, right? As people are making AI podcasts, but they want to incorporate them into their, into their marketing site. Maybe they have an existing blog or an existing podcast where they want to augment it with AI. So Jellypod makes that super easy. You can just copy an iframe in. If you want to do some customization, like you can add in episode ID into the code. This is all explained in the blog post about this feature. Shout out jellypod.ai/blog if you're interested in reading about all the things going on with Jellypod. But I mean, that's just incredible. You can immediately alter how you want it styled to be on brand with your website. Copy the code, go to your site wherever you want to put it in, paste it, save it.
Right. Yeah. So it's super easy. I mean, a lot of people were asking, can I embed my podcast? Do you have an embeddable player? And this is a feature that most podcast hosts have. And we didn't, but now we do. So just, if you have your own current website and you want people to stay on your website, but also listen to your podcast, take the embeddable player. It's on all plans. Anyone can use it. So it's not a paid feature, and just go embed the player.
By default, it'll show the most recent. There's 2 kinds of podcasts you can set up in Jellypod. There's episodic and serial, which means that the top one is the latest one, or the top one is the first one in the series. So if you're set up to be,
which is
good question. That gets me every time. I'm like, it says most. I rely upon the
It's
subtext, which is like most recent.
right.
But I'm guessing episodic means most recent is the latest. The top one is the most recent
Um,
because it's just episodes coming out versus serial seems like you need to consume it serially.
I think you're right. Yes, I believe you're right. I
That's
was
what
just more. I was forgetting.
that's why we have the subtext in the app to make sure that we never forget.
Right.
But if you set it to episodic, which I think by default we actually do, the latest one will be the one that shows on the embed player. So it's this great way of you set it up once, and then as you're producing, it just automatically will update.
Totally.
So this is a great way. Like, I mean, what I'm really excited about is um, like we're making playlists around certain concepts. So either a playlist around feature announcements, or a playlist around customer stories, a playlist around news. So you can take one of those playlists that is a podcast, embed it wherever it needs to live, and then as you create new news or as you create new podcasts, um, they just appear exactly where you want them. So no more engineering work required. It's just automatic.
Yeah, totally. No, it's super, super cool. I wanted to shout out. So, sometimes we'll just shout out some customers and users. Yesterday I was looking at like who's using the embed player. MattCurry.com. So he was one of the first guys that I saw that had an embed player on his own website. So if you go to MattCurry.com, he has a podcast about the DevOps Cowboys. And it's right there on its like top of his blog, and you can check it out right there. So Matt, if you're on the stream, awesome. Love to see the embed player live. It's great. And I don't know if we've seen any guest clones yet, but if you're doing one, leave us a comment in the chat. Let's see. And we'll shout you out and on your podcast. So
Yeah, I'm so excited to see what people cook up there.
totally. Yeah, I think, and as we wrap up, I mean, launch week, it was a whirlwind. I think pretty cool. I think a lot of our people in our Discord and users and everywhere were pretty excited. I think to see a bunch of new features come out this week. And I love the community that's being grown in Discord and everyone helping each other out. So keep that up. We'll probably do another launch week sometime in the next few months as we just have like these features that people are asking for. So like always, if you have some feature request, let us know, put it in the Discord, in that forum there. And we look at them all, or just DM us. We track them. And there'll probably be another launch week sometime in next few months. Our team's expanding, and we'll probably be able to deliver even more stuff. There's a bunch of things that people have been asking for, such as like more fine grained regenerations. That's a big priority for us, and so that's probably the next major thing that comes out. So keep an eye out there. So all those pains around regenerations. Something was good, and then you had to regenerate some other section, and that screws up the thing that was good. We hear you. That's super important for us, and so
I'm excited. Yeah, that definitely seems to be the number one thing showing up right now. But also, I mean, I think like what I've loved is there's been a lot of messages around like people are very excited about all the functionality, but what people are just blown away by is the speed. People are like, any one of these things for the whole week would have been great, but to do all 5 of these things in 1 week is unreal. So like people are emailing me, people are hitting me up on LinkedIn, and various other places. So I just want to give a big shout there. I mean, the speed is unreal.
Yeah, we'll keep it up. We'll keep going. It's fun. And I think also before we wrap up, I mean, you posted something in Discord. You put this morning and on YouTube yesterday, this customer story stuff. I know you had a conversation with Dr. Ken Adams, and did you want to share a little bit about like what that is, like how that conversation went, like why you did it?
Totally, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you've heard us probably say it a bunch on our weekly Wednesdays, but we have this overall thesis that there's all these great stories and untapped expertise in people that Jellypod is going to help, bring out into the world. But we want to show that and not just tell that. So we started recording customer stories. So I'm hopping on with people for about a 30-minute, conversation about what it is they're doing with Jellypod. What were they doing before Jellypod? What's the after, and how has that whole experience been? And it's been awesome. So the first one that we released was the first person that we had scheduled, and that was Dr. Ken Adams, Chief Medical Officer. Fascinating story, and beyond all his accolades or experience, he's just a great dad, and he's trying to help his daughter be more efficient in college. He wants her to have fun. He wants her to do, to work out, but also learn. But sort of that trifecta is difficult. So
It's a
what
great
he
thing to do
does,
in college to learn.
yeah, yeah, probably the third most important thing you can do in college, but learning is critical. And I mean, it's really cool. It's like we're huge believers in host customization. That like the character and the voice behind the story is very important. I don't know if it's as important as the content, but very important. So he made this great podcast in like a female British professor's voice, MD PhD, which is I think what the daughter's aspiring to be. So he made a character that he thinks that he knows is his daughter's favorite sort of type of person to listen to. And then he made this regular podcast where a couple times a week, whatever she's learning about in class gets sort of reinforced in a 8-minute podcast, 9-minute podcast. So it's just an awesome interesting use case. Most of the conversations that I've had are not making a podcast for the 5 people in his daughter's immediate circle. Most people are doing either trying to go on Spotify, or they're trying to elevate their business or their brand.
Right.
But I thought that was such a cool way to start.
Right.
Specifically, the most interesting thing is we talk about niche podcasts. How much more niche can you get than like a college bio class and the 5 people? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's super interesting. That's cool. I haven't been able to watch the whole video yet, but I'm going to do it soon. So probably sometime this afternoon. But yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And honestly, like, feedback is important. So if anybody does watch that video and has feedback, message us or leave it in the comments. I'm learning about how to make these things more interesting. So this one was like pretty much unedited except for the front and the back being trimmed down. So if people think that it needs to be faster or punchier or something, then
Right.
I'm
Totally.
all ears.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot to look forward to. A lot has been done this past week. I would say Jellypod launch week number 1 was success. It's super awesome to see everybody on the live stream today, and just join the Discord, follow us on all the channels, X, YouTube, which you're probably watching this on now, Discord, and share some invite links with your friends, and add their hosts and their voice clones into your account, and just super excited to see what everybody can create. So yeah. So I think that'll just probably wrap it up. I mean, launch week over. So
Over.
over.
Launch week
It's
over.
done. I can sleep. Now I can sleep. So
so much earned sleep.
Yes. Sweet. Okay. Well, thanks everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.